Hello, and welcome back to From a Head Teacher's Perspective with me, Paul Urry. Today, we're starting a new course, Stepping into Subject Leadership. This often brings an unexpected feeling, uncertainty, rather than clarity or confidence. Leadership can feel ambiguous, demanding judgment where there are no clear answers. This is a normal and important part of leadership growth. This unit introduces a key idea for emerging leaders that schools rely on both management and leadership, and that subject leaders must learn to move between the two. You will explore how leadership extends beyond systems and routines into purpose, influence, and culture, and why developing this balance is central to leading others well. For many teachers, stepping into leadership is one of the earliest and most confusing realizations of this. Leadership does not feel like what you expected. You may have imagined leadership as decisiveness, authority, or control. You may have assumed it would feel like having clearer answers, stronger confidence, or greater uncertainty. Instead, it offers feelings like ambiguity. This is where the distinction between management and leadership becomes important, not as a hierarchy of value, but as a difference of function. Management and leadership are not opposites, they are complementary, and schools need both. Management is about stability. It ensures that systems work, routines run smoothly, and expectations are clear. Management focuses on planning, organising, monitoring, and maintaining consistency. It keeps the school functioning day to day. In education, management shows up everywhere, in timetables, in policies, in data systems, procedures, deadlines, compliance. It all works together because without good management, schools descend into confusion. But management alone does not move a school forward. Leadership is about direction. Leadership asks, where are we going? Why does it matter? And how people experience this journey. It is concerned with values, culture, purpose, and improvement over time. Leadership is not primarily about systems, it is about people. And this distinction matters deeply for subject leaders. Many teachers are promoted into leadership roles because they are organised, reliable, and effective. These are management strengths, and they do matter. But leadership requires something additional. Leadership requires judgment. It asks you to hold complexity without rushing to resolution, to navigate competing priorities, to influence without direct authority, to guide thinking rather than simply enforce compliance. This is why leadership can feel unsettling at first. Management often offers clarity, tasks, timetables, outcomes. Leadership offers questions. Questions such as, what really matters here? What is the right thing to prioritize? How will this decision affect others? What culture am I trying to create? These are not questions with immediate answers. As a subject leader, you may still be managing resources, organizing meetings, or overseeing routines. But leadership begins when you move beyond what you need doing and start engaging with why it matters and how it is experienced. Leadership is exercised through influence, not instruction. And this is a really important shift. Managers can rely on process. Leaders rely on trust. Managers ensure tasks are completed. Leaders ensure meaning is understood. Neither is better, both are necessary. But problems arise when leadership is reduced to management alone, when leaders focus only on tasks and compliance. Improvement becomes mechanical. Staff follow instructions, but professional commitment weakens. Change feels imposed rather than owned. Equally, leadership without management becomes unstable. Vision without structure leads to frustration. Values without systems create inconsistency. Strong leaders learn to move fluently between the two. They know when to tighten systems and when to loosen them, when clarity is needed and when dialogue matters more, when to manage and when to lead. As an emerging leader, you may feel torn between these modes. You may notice moments where you instinctively reach for management because it feels safer, clearer, more controllable. That instinct is understandable, but leadership growth often happens when you resist the urge to resolve too quickly and instead create space for thinking. For example, rather than fixing a problem immediately, you might ask, what is driving it? Rather than enforcing a solution, you might invite colleagues into reflection. Rather than focusing on compliance, you might focus on understanding. This does not mean avoiding responsibility. Leadership still requires decisions, but those decisions are informed by values, relationships, and long-term impact, not just immediate efficiency. One of the most important leadership shifts is recognizing that progress is not always visible in the short term. Management often produces quick wins. Leadership produces sustainable change, but usually more slowly. This can feel uncomfortable in a system that values measurable outcomes and rapid improvement. Yet schools that improve well do so because leaders attend to culture as carefully as they attend to systems. As a subject leader, you are learning to operate at this intersection. You are not expected to abandon management. You are expected to expand beyond it. Leadership asks you to articulate purpose, not just process. Model values, not just enforce rules. Influence thinking, not just behavior. And hold long-term improvement along short-term pressures. This is why leadership cannot be reduced to a checklist. It is relational, contextual, human, and it is learned through practice. Understanding the difference between management and leadership is not about choosing one over the other. It is about recognizing when each is needed and developing the confidence to move between them thoughtfully. That awareness marks the beginning of genuine leadership. So pause for reflection to take time to consider. In your current role, where are you mostly managing and where are you leading? Which aspects of leadership feel most uncomfortable or uncertain? How might greater attention to purpose and influence shape your next steps? You do not stop being a manager when you become a leader, but leadership begins when you realize that systems serve people, not the other way round. Leadership develops through reflection and practice, not checklists. As you move forward, notice when your role calls for structure and when it calls for influence, dialogue, and purpose. Growth comes from learning to hold both. The accompanying workbook is designed to support this process, helping you reflect on your leadership habits, identify next steps, and translate insights into action as your leadership continues to develop. Please do take time to download the workbook and look at those questions and answer honestly. And until next time, thank you and goodbye.